Hey, this is Sasha. Thanks for joining me in today's video. What we're going to cover today is if you're making money in your paper trading account, but then you're going into live trading and it's not happening, let me share with you some quick insights about this. All right, so periodically when I deal with coaching students and mentoring students, so by the way, you can go and check out our website at tradersfly.com and take a look at all the coaching and mentoring that I do if you're interested in getting one-on-one sessions or doing something for a longer term. With that in mind, when I work with those people and we get into the heart of the issues and matter, a lot of them, after a little while, they get in and they're fine with the paper trading account. So let's just go here on screen. So they might put on some paper trades. Most of the stuff that I deal with is on the options world. It's just more complex, and that's more of what I cater to because that's what people want to learn. So in either case, we've got these trades that we do in a simulated account. So this is what we're working on. And they might put on a few of these trades, and they might have a few of these trades that win. So for example, like this trade, you might be up $320 some on the trade. Other trades you might lose. So periodically you're up on some, you lose on some, and overall that creates your mix and bag of trades. But what happens is people go in and they go from the paper trading account, and all of a sudden they get into the live account, and now they start struggling and they start messing up big time, and they just don't really know how to handle it. So some of the things that we really deal with is when you look on the trading aspect, if you're making money on the paper trading side, usually you're doing it without any worry, without any fear, without any emotions. So it makes it really nice to be able to, put on the trades as you normally would. So what paper trading does is allow you to test out your strategy and make sure that the strategy is working. If you can see that your strategy is working, then by all means, that's a good strategy. So the issue comes is when you go to live trading account and now it's just completely different. Well, what's happening is the psychological aspect of it. There's a huge issue and a big jump that you have to do. Think of it like hopping across the lake or the river, kind of like what I do with the kids every week these days. So what you're doing is you got to hop from one rock, then you got to hop to the next, and so on. But what happens is the gap is too big. And that jump is too big for people. So what they're doing is they're probably trading too large for their capabilities, and they're not thinking about things the right way. So most of the time, that big issue is the psychological issue. Because when you look at the paper trading, if paper trading is working, that to me tells me that your strategy is sound. Okay, so if we're doing let's say 10 trades over the course of let's say you put on a trade every Monday, and you do Monday, and over 10 weeks, you've had a profitable kind of system and strategy, then that to me tells me that your system and strategy is working. However, if you're putting on the trades and it's going on the paper platform and you're just going fail, then that means that your strategy is not there yet. So if you're not making money on the paper platform, you got to go back and you got to get a proper system and strategy. Now, on the other hand, a lot of people I run into is if once we have that strategy in place, when they transition from the paper platform and then they go to the live platform, then they're struggling. And that has to do a lot with the psychological issues. So trading in its own is a pretty simple concept, right? You buy something low, you sell it high, you sell high, you buy it low. Whether you're dealing with options, the same thing. The strategy is, you're buying either a calendar spread and you're selling a calendar spread, and vice versa. So when we get into these types of trades and we're starting to look at them, so something like this on Docu or whatever other trade, I think I have one on Starbucks. So here's the diagonal spread. So when you get into some of these trades and they're working fine on the platform, but you're not doing well on the live account, usually it's a psychological issue. So I'd say most of the time it's a psychological problem, and that's where most people struggle with in trading overall is the psychological problems. Initially the strategies are there, and you could learn a ton of strategies, and that's what people want to start with. But eventually, to get over the hurdle on the live trading, a lot of that is the psychological and mental problems. So you could think of the 80-20 principle or the 20-80 principle, where 80% is mental, 20% is the strategy. Now, some people would argue, no, 80% is the strategy and 20% is mental here. I'd say it's the opposite when it comes to trading. 80, maybe even 90, maybe 99%. Just depends. If you have a simple strategy and it works for you, that's fine. Then 99% of it is mental. You didn't really have to learn crazy strategies. So in this case, if you've got these trades going on and you're doing fine on the paper platforms like this, putting on calendar spreads, putting on other kinds of spreads, and they're working out, but you're struggling to go to the live account, start with trading smaller. That's a key tip, because you're probably trading too large where you're getting too nervous about the different ticks. And then it's the mental game you have to work on. Now, a lot of these things we deal with in the coaching section here and the mentoring part. So if you're interested in that, check out our website at tradersfly.com/coaching, and that's what we'll really get into a little bit more in depth and in detail. But in either case, I focus more specifically on the option side, but I'll tell you that a lot of times this is the biggest issue when it comes to with trading and with people, is the psychological aspect. Most people don't get it. They don't understand it, and they don't know how to wrap their arms around it. So anyways, I hope this helps you and gives you some insight. So step one, if you basically are doing paper trading, which you should for any new strategy, if it's working, then great, then you can move to live money. If it's not working, then you don't have an appropriate strategy that's consistent enough. And you got to do it for a handful of different trades to be able to make it work. Do the same trade over and over again to make sure that it pans out. That way you know what to tweak and adjust if necessary. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week ahead. We've got some classes maybe that we'll be doing later on towards the summer and towards the end of the year. So thanks for sticking with me. Be sure to get on the newsletter list or grab some of the freebies that we have available by clicking the link over here. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.